Now at 9, the Carl Junction Marching Band hosts its annual Marching Band Festival. Plus, the community of Weir hosts its town history during homecoming celebrations. And
the UAW and the big three automakers back at the bargaining table on Saturday, one day after strikes began at 3 U.S. auto plants. I'm Grady Trimble in Wayne, Michigan. I'll have the latest coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Elise Snowy. A Quapaw, Oklahoma man is dead after a crash near Baxter Springs, Kansas between a semi and a pickup. It happened around 6 p.m. yesterday on Highway 166 west of Baxter Springs. Authorities say both vehicles were traveling east with the pickup in front. They then say the pickup slowed down to turn left when the semi went into the left lane and hit the pickup. The driver of the pickup was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. A passenger in the pickup, 58-year-old Jeffrey Sappington, was killed. The driver of the semi was not hurt. Beginning this fall, Kansas will have no fall turkey hunting season due to declining populations at state and regional levels. Members of the Kansas Wildlife and Parks Commission arrived at the difficult decision after hearing compelling recommendations from staff over the course of 4 public meetings. According to one small game biologist, these trends are not unique to Kansas. States across the Midwest and the Southeast have experienced similar patterns in turkey populations. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us for a first look at weather.
All right, thank you very much. We have some scattered showers and thunderstorms moving through the area right now, and that will continue until about the 11 o'clock hour, with temperatures dropping through the 60s to about 55 degrees by tomorrow morning. And if you're suffering from the allergies, it's going to get a little bit better. Today was 7.6, tomorrow about the same, most of that being ragweed, chenopod, and nettle. And looking down the lane, it looks like we're going to have a sunny Sunday with partly cloudy skies on your Monday, but a stormy midweek involved with an unsettled pattern setting up. And of course, I'll detail all that in the forecast coming up in just a little while.
Thanks, Sam. Carl Junction hosted its annual Marching Band Festival, where schools from across the state come together and perform in front of judges. Every band varies in size from about 30 students to over 100 students. They are judged on multiple areas, and after each performance, every school is given feedback to help them improve in the future.
So they'll judge, how they're playing together as a unit, their phrasing, the musicality, the marching style. There'll be another caption. We have a guard person who's watching all the flag twirlers and stuff like that. Overall general effect of how the show is put together. And we have a percussion person too that specifies in that area.
My favorite part is watching the other bands. I like seeing what they have going on. Like last year I liked a Joplin show. It was really interesting.
The top 10 bands also got the opportunity to compete in the finals for a prize. The city of Weir is celebrating their homecoming this weekend. Part of the homecoming celebration is to remember the town's history. Presenter and host David Wallace invited community members to share their stories, memorabilia, and acknowledgement of the history of Weir.
I've had the involvement of the museums around town, around southeast Kansas. I've had involvement from the McCune Museum, the Galena Historical Museum, the Nature Center in Galena. Miners Hall Museum has really done a bang-up job.
The tent was set up from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Local skaters were able to show off their tricks today at the PKY Skateboard Park. The annual Battle for the Cup skateboard competition showcased skaters from all around the area. The event included music, skater meet and greets, and of course, skateboarding. Prizes and trophies were rewarded to first, second, and third places in each skill level, best trick contest, and best run.
We usually give away the skateboards, t-shirts, and stickers and stuff like that. There's a couple local skate groups that are out here today.
I usually go in intermediate, but they was telling me I couldn't, so.
This was the 15th annual all-day competition. Today, Joplin hosted their annual surplus auction at the Joplin Public Works Center. Guests could come browse and bid on items like power tools, bikes, furniture, vehicles, and more. Viewing for the items took place on Friday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. But today, approximately 200 people attended the auction to purchase their desired items.
Well, it helps us recoup some money on items that we purchased in the past, and then each department benefits whatever department the items come from. The money goes back to that department.
Mostly just come up here to look for something to buy to make a little money on or something.
For more information, including a full item list, visit joplinmo.org/auction list. Around 13,000 American auto workers walked off the job Friday after their union was unable to reach a new contract with Detroit's automakers. That number could jump dramatically if a deal can't be reached soon, part of an ongoing strike that could have a massive impact on the economy. Fox's Grady Trimble has the latest.
The United Auto Workers and the Big Three Detroit automakers back at the bargaining table on Saturday, one day after the union went on strike. Workers are pushing for higher wages and better pension plans. In their latest offers, Ford, GM, and Stellantis, which owns Chrysler, included a pay increase of around 20% over the 4-year contract. The UAW president says so far those offers are not enough.
When we get to where we feel we need to be, we can take an agreement to our members, we'll do that.
Ford has already laid off 600 workers at one plant because of the strike, and GM warns one of its factories could shut down as soon as next week. The union president calling that a squeeze tactic to get members to accept an unfair deal. President Biden has voiced his support for the striking workers, sending 2 members of his administration to Detroit to help aid the negotiations.
Auto companies have seen record profits. Those record profits have not been shared fairly, in my view, with those workers.
It's not clear if the union welcomes that help. Some workers fear the White House's embrace of electric vehicles means they could be out of a job in a few years. That's why union members are also seeking stronger job security as that EV transition happens. Right now, the strike is limited to just 3 plants. The UAW has vowed to expand those walkouts depending on how negotiations go. In Wayne, Michigan, I'm Grady Trimble, Fox News.
Later, Hyundai is helping provide extra support to cancer patients. A toddler in Arkansas has died from a rare brain-eating amoeba. It happened after they spent the day at a splash pad where health officials believe the infection was contracted. The amoeba, called Naegleria fowleri, is known to destroy brain tissue and cause brain swelling. While it lives in soil and warm fresh water, the amoeba can infect people in recreational pools and splash pads that aren't sanitized with enough chlorine. However, infections are rare. According to the CDC, roughly 3 Americans are infected per year, but the outcome is usually fatal. The Children's Hospital of Philadelphia has some extra support in the fight against pediatric cancer, thanks to the Hyundai's Hope on Wheels campaign. The hospital received $670,000 in grant money from the campaign. So far this year, the Hyundai Hope on Wheels campaign has provided over $225 million to support research dedicated to finding a cure for childhood cancer. Meteorologist Sam Lane is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, workers in Arizona go on strike, demanding better working conditions. We'll have the details.
Well, it didn't turn out to be too bad of a day across the area, with morning clouds and then sunshine this afternoon, and then more showers moved in this evening across parts of the area. Let's start out this morning at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. You can see the clouds this morning. They moved out of here, and then we left with mostly fair skies this afternoon. And then we saw some more thunderstorms developing up towards the north and west because it's so cold aloft, and those have spread across our area this evening. We made it up to 82 today, which is right where we're supposed to be for this time of year, starting out at 64 though, and the average is 59. So overall, we were a little bit above normal on the temperatures, but we're way behind on the rainfall. And speaking of rainfall, here's the radar right now. You can see some scattered storms, mainly in the eastern sections of our area, moving over towards Springfield, moving to the south and east. Also a few showers near Pittsburgh and also just south of Fredonia and also down in northeastern Oklahoma. Zooming in on that activity, you can see some showers now leaving Greenfield, moving into the Mount Vernon area, and also just west of Pittsburgh and south of Girard, a little bit of shower activity there as well. Temperatures right now are in the 60s up to the north where they've had some rain-cooled air. Still close to 70 down to the south. In fact, it is 71 in Sedan right now, 67 in Veneta, and in Grove, and 63 cooler degrees for our friends in Cassville. Dew points, they're generally in the 50s and 60s this evening, but as we go into tomorrow, we're going to see those dew points drop, and then Monday in the 40s, and then on Tuesday, we're going to see the moisture come back in our forecast, especially as we go into Wednesday, with dew points still in the 60s with a pretty good chance of scattered showers and storms. But tonight, rain chances are going to be decreasing as we go into the overnight hours and then stay low for the next 24 hours or so as we have this storm system that's over tonight rapidly moving off towards the south and east. Then we're going to have a ridge of high pressure build in, and then another weak system comes through as we go into Tuesday night and Wednesday, and that system just kind of parks itself over the Midwest, and that's going to keep the chances of showers and storms going through our forecast, and you'll see that in just a moment. And if those forecasts verify, we're expecting quite a bit of precipitation across the area, and hopefully that will occur as we're still in a very serious drought situation, although the European model is not as excited about the precipitation. So there's still some argument as to how much we're going to get as we go through the forecast. But tonight, mostly fair skies with temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Then tomorrow, partly cloudy with highs in the upper 70s to lower 80s. And then as we go into Monday morning, we're going to see lows in the 50s, once again, maybe even some 40s up to the north and east. And then Monday afternoon looking pretty good with a few clouds and highs in the 80s. And then as we go into Tuesday morning, we're going to be milder with some scattered showers out to the west with lows in the 60s and 70s. And over the next 7 days, we're looking at showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday through Saturday, here and there with highs near seasonable temperatures.
Like there's anything to complain about there.
No, there's not. We definitely need the rainfall. Hopefully we'll get a lot of it.
Yes, thanks, Sam. Coming up, GOP candidates continue on the campaign trail this weekend.
GOP candidates putting their faith on display this weekend as they battle for the Christian vote. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington. This story coming up.
Can you hold out on one more week on high gas prices? Analysts think you may catch a break soon. Fuel industry analyst says current high gas prices will remain in place at least one more week. One oil associate president says prices could rise 3 to 5 cents next week. But the worst may be over as producers switch to winter-grade gas beginning Saturday. The national average Wednesday was $3.84 a gallon. Gas Buddy says prices could fall between $3.35 to $3.50 a gallon by the end of the year. But a wild card could be more OPEC production cuts if prices fall too far. Dispensary workers in Arizona go on strike as they demand better working conditions, better pay, and more benefits. Fox's Stephanie Bennett has the story.
Dozens gathering outside the Curaleaf dispensary Friday near Central Avenue and Thomas Road, hoping their demands for better pay, benefits, working conditions, and safety, among others, won't go up in smoke.
People over profit, justice over greed, cannabis for all, not just corporate need.
In support of the striking workers, UFCW Local 99 hosted the rally, along with elected leaders and community members. The group calling on Curaleaf Midtown to reinstate a recently fired worker and start advancing union contract negotiations.
Your direct action here today speaks volumes, and when you take brave, courageous actions like this to walk off the job, you not only are fighting for yourselves and your co-workers, but for every worker who is taking taken advantage of by their employer and by corporations.
On June 30th, 2022, the workers voted in favor of unionizing. But nearly 2 years after their organizing campaign began, workers at the Midtown location still do not have a union contract.
We're demanding that Curaleaf comes to the table and negotiates with us, like they were supposed to do when the NLRB ordered them to recognize us. You know, we've been fighting for almost 2 years now, and we're not even anywhere close to a contract.
Curaleaf tells Fox 10 in a statement, in part, while we believe that a direct relationship with our team members is the best route for us to work together, we respect the voices of our team members and will negotiate with union leaders in good faith.
A baby goat gets a new pair of legs. Up next.
An animal prosthetic doctor in Colorado is taking up a new challenge by giving a rescue baby goat the chance to walk again. Fox's Evan Krugel has more.
You've got some legs, mister.
Inside his Westminster clinic,
there we go.
Dr. Martin Kaufman is no stranger to fitting pets for prosthetics. The walls of his office filled with success stories featuring dogs of every breed. But today's patient is not your typical pet. Instead, a 6-month-old goat who's had a rough start to life.
This is Stanley. He is our rescue goat.
Stanley was born without his back legs before being saved by the Old Town Homestead Rescue Farm in Fort Lupton.
So we thought this is a really tough rescue. He's never going to walk his entire life.
But Stanley is doing more than just walking, thriving on his latest set of prosthetics as he gets measured for his latest pair by Dr. Kaufman.
He's been in his first set of prosthetics for 3 months now, and it's night and day difference. In his previous situation, he's not able to walk on solid ground because it skins his legs. In his prosthetics, he can do anything from walking and running to jumping.
One of the best parts about anticipating how our animal patients will do after we fit them with a prosthetic is wondering how long it takes them to understand what's going on. And that eureka moment when you see them realize, oh, I can just be normal again. That's awesome. And off they go. It just melts your heart.
In Westminster with photojournalist Dan Mayberry, I'm Evan Krugel, Fox 31.
30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, the president is in Delaware after a whirlwind week for his administration. It's a base GOP candidates try to win every election. The Christian conservatives and the two Republican frontrunners went head-to-head last night, pitching themselves to the faithful. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
The power of prayer is real, it's powerful.
We did more to uphold religious liberty than any administration in history.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former President Donald Trump putting their faith on display Friday at two evangelical political events.
The left views leftist ideology as effectively the national religion. When I become president in the United States, that is not going to become acceptable.
It comes as the latest Fox News poll shows Trump has increased his lead in the GOP pool with 60% of the vote, while DeSantis' campaign is losing steam, down 3 points in the last month.
We're focused our efforts on the early states.
Other GOP contenders putting faith at the center of their campaigns, former Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Tim Scott.
After I gave my life to Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, I knew from that moment on the cause of life had to be my cause.
Our nation was founded upon the Judeo-Christian values that has made this the greatest nation on God's green earth.
But Trump is the candidate with the biggest gains among evangelicals, even as he faces numerous criminal charges.
When they ask me, and they have, why Christian women support Donald Trump, I tell them, conservative women are not looking for a pastor or a husband for president. We are looking for a bodyguard.
DeSantis has a faith-heavy weekend planned in Iowa, where he is expected to announce endorsements from over 70 religious leaders in early voting states. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us for another look at the weather.
All right, thank you very much, Elise. It's been a beautiful day across the area. We have some thunderstorms rolling through right now, and that will continue for a little bit longer, but then we're going to see temperatures dropping down through the 60s to a low of 55 by tomorrow morning, so quite chilly if you're heading out to services. And then looking at the lakes tomorrow afternoon, looking pretty good, although Elk City Lake right now is about 5 feet below normal. Grand Lake is in better shape at around a foot below normal, and about the same thing over at Table Rock. They're about 2 feet below normal, but Stockton is way down at almost 5 1/3 feet below normal, where it should be. Now, we take a look down the lane, we're going to see partly cloudy skies tomorrow, as well as Monday, and then some storms come in about midweek, and an unsettled pattern overall, and I'll detail what that means in our forecast coming up in just a little while.
Thanks, Sam. It's been a tough week for President Biden. His son Hunter was indicted on a gun charge. He now faces an impeachment inquiry launched by the House Speaker, and some former allies are questioning his decision to run for re-election. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson is traveling with the president in Wilmington, Delaware, and has more.
An editorial in Bloomberg says President Biden faces a green energy conundrum. Support electric vehicles or the combustion engines put together by some of those striking UAW workers. President Biden, speaking in the Roosevelt Room at the White House, says he supports both.
Strong unions are critical to a growing economy and growing it from the middle out, the bottom up, not the top down. That's especially true as we transition to a clean energy future, which we're in the process of doing. I believe that transition should be fair and a win-win, for auto workers and auto companies.
It's been a tough week for the president. It started with that awkward press conference in Vietnam, then the false claim about visiting Ground Zero the day after 9/11. A new inflation report shows prices rising for a second consecutive month. Of course, our viewers don't need a report to tell them that. They see it on the receipt when they go to the grocery store, the gas station, or buy anything else these days. And longtime Biden ally David Ignatius said Biden should not run again in his recent column in the Washington Post. Thousands of United Auto Workers went on strike days after President Biden predicted they wouldn't. Then, for the first time in history, a sitting president's son was indicted after those gun charges were leveled against Hunter. And of course, earlier this week, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy launching that impeachment inquiry. One House Republican explained why.
An impeachment inquiry does is let the committees have subpoena power and let's gain the evidence. And you know who the jury is? The American people.
Hunter Biden is expected to return to a courtroom here in Wilmington in about a week. He could also potentially receive additional tax charges. Traveling with the president in Wilmington, Delaware, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Still ahead, we'll take a look at the changes being made for social media ads.
If social media is a fake world, why are real photographs more popular? I'm Eben Brown in Miami. I'll have that story straight ahead.
Well, it's been a mixed bag today with some scattered clouds this morning and then sunshine in the afternoon, and we had more thunder showers developing this evening across the area. A beautiful sunset this evening at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort earlier. And now we're looking at a high of 82 degrees after starting out at 64. So overall, we were above normal, but for the high, we were right on target. And of course, we're way behind on the rainfall, approaching 12 inches behind just this year, not counting how far we were behind last year. Radar right now does show some showers and thunderstorms mainly to the east of our area. A few scattered showers near Pittsburgh and also near Fredonia and also down near Veneta. Zooming in on some of that activity, you can see those showers now around Mount Vernon moving off towards the east and also out to the west around just northwest of Weir over towards Pittsburgh. A few scattered showers this evening ongoing. Temperatures are very pleasant though, in the 60s up to the north and upper 60s everywhere else, like in Independence with 68, 71, one of the warmest readings over there in Sedan. Dew points are up. They're generally in the 50s and 60s. That's because of the rain in the area. And then as we go through time, though, we're going to see the dew points drop as we go to tomorrow into Monday and most of Tuesday morning. And then by Tuesday evening, we're going to see the dew points increasing once again. That will continue into Wednesday as well. And that's why we think that there's going to be a better chance of showers and thunderstorms for your Wednesday. But in the meantime, we're going to have rain chances decreasing tonight and then remain low for most of tomorrow as the storm system that's over us tonight is going to be moving off towards the east. ridge of high pressure builds in, but then another storm system starts to come in as we go into Tuesday night and Wednesday and just kind of meanders around for a while, and that's going to keep the rain chances going. And looking at the GFS forecast, hopefully this will verify, a lot of rainfall is expected across southeastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma, but the European model is not as excited. And the way this summer has gone, the European may actually be end up closer to the truth with not very much rainfall. So we're going to have to wait and see exactly how this is going to pan out. But tonight, we're going to see mostly fair skies with lows in the 50s and 60s. And then tomorrow, partly sunny with highs in the upper 70s and lower 80s, a pretty nice day. And then as we go into Monday morning, lows in the 50s across the area, maybe some 40s up to the north and east. And then Monday afternoon, a few increasing clouds with highs in the low to mid 80s, upper 80s out towards the west, even maybe 90 in Howard and Eureka. And then as we go into Tuesday morning, scattered showers will start to move back into our forecast with temperatures in the 60s and 70s in the morning hours on brisk south to southwest winds. Over the next 7 days, we have that chance of rain coming in Tuesday evening and into Wednesday, and then we decrease a little bit for Thursday and Friday, and then we bring it back up for Saturday. And then Sunday looks drier, and then more scattered showers possible on Monday. So we definitely need the rain, Elise, but the temperatures we really can't complain about, especially for this time of year.
They look great to me.
Yep,
They
me
look
too.
absolutely great. Thanks, Sam. Coming up in sports, a big high school volleyball tournament takes place with multiple Southeast Kansas teams in attendance. And the Pittsburgh State Gorillas finished their game with a wild ending. Brock Baldridge has those highlights and more next in sports.
Well, both of our local MIAA teams played their first 2 games of the season on Thursday night. Now both squads get back to their regular routines on Saturday night as both the Gorillas and the Lions hit the road for the second straight week. Pittsburgh stays undefeated going on the road against another undefeated team in Central Missouri. First quarter, Pitt State down 7-0. Chad Dodson launches us down the field, and it's caught. Tremendous catch there. Tie up the game by Katzis. 7-7 game. He has 200 receiving yards in this game, Colby Katzis. Third quarter now. Pitt State's tied 17-17. Cleo Chandler takes the handoff. He's in for the touchdown. Gorillas take their first lead of the day, 24-17 Pitt State. So the fourth quarter now, we're tied again, 24-24, and who's always open? The tight end. Dotson to Devon Garrison, keeps his feet in bounds, touchdown Pitt State. Gorillas in front 31-24. So to the late fourth quarter, we're tied yet again, 31-31. Dotson to Mario Kirby for the Gorillas, touchdown with 1:48 left to play, 38-31 Pitt State. So now, the play of the game, Pitt State leads 38-37. Central Missouri's going for 2 after they scored a touchdown, and Pitt State stuffs it. Never a doubt the Gorillas win a game in a barn burner as Pittsburgh State beats Central Missouri by 1 point, 38-37. In Kearney, Nebraska, the Lopers are home against the Lions, who are hungry for a road win. First quarter here, Lions on third down. Joko Willis comes out of nowhere. The Auburn transfer forces MSSU to kick, 3-0 Lions. Next possession for the Lions. Luke Sampson finds Jaden Stoshak. It is Stowe time. Over the middle for a touchdown. PAT was blocked. Lions lead 9-0 to close out the first. Into the second, same score. TJ Davis hands off to Tamunsi Napier. Junior finds pay dirt. 9-7 game. Second half now. Sampson hands it off to Javion Marlowe, who dives in for 6. Missouri Southern extends their lead 15-7. Last chance here as Missouri Southern leads 18-13. They recover the onside kick, and that will do it. Lions get the road win 18-13. They improve to 2-1 on the season. High school volleyball is well underway in the state of Kansas, and this weekend, 10 local Southeast Kansas teams get together for a tournament in Erie. Late morning action for volleyball as the Frontenac Raiders are facing the Fredonia Yellow Jackets. Raiders won the first set, so in the second set, Fredonia Zoe Sims puts a little nice touch on that one as that ball finds open floor. Later in the second set, it's going to be Zoe Sims again as she puts a little more juice into it that time. Yellow Jackets are hanging around, but here comes Frontenac. Kendall Matlock is going to tap this over the net. No one's there to pick up the dig. So then that sets up match point for Frontenac. Lucy Anderson with a big spike there. That will do it. Frontenac beats Fredonia 2-0. Next door to the main gym, the host of the tournament, the Erie Red Devils, hosting the Girard Trojans. Early in the first set, Erie finds some momentum as Mackenzie LaRue gets enough velocity off that ball to go off the hands of Girard. Still in the first set, Erie going to go over to Jackson Powell now as she's going to find some open floor there. Point for the Red Devils. But Girard starting to settle in now. Noah Burnett for Erie is going to go in for the kill, but Girard's Rachel Bennett is there to deny it for the block. Set point now as Maddie Custer gets the kill for Girard. That will be it for the first set. So Girard wins the first. Now over the second set. Rylea Franklin's going to tap this one over the net. That will set up match point for Girard. It's going to be Rachel Bennett for the serve, and Erie is unable to handle it. And that's the match right there. So Girard beats the host team Erie 2-0. Well, last year these two teams got together in K-State as the Wildcats dominated the Missouri Tigers. This year K-State gets to go on the Missouri Tigers home field. So now we get to see which team gets to answer the call this Saturday. Starting off with the first drive of the game, Will Howard takes the ball. So that ball is deflected and goes into the hands of Phillips Brooks. Touchdown K-State, Wildcats lead 7-0. Later in the first quarter, same score. Brady Cook steps up and delivers a huge throw to Luther Burden and makes the catch. Touchdown. Tiger fans wondering, where has this been from Brady Cook? Tie game 7-7. Second quarter, Mizzou down 14-10. It's 4th and goal. Cook with the fake play. He takes in the end zone for the touchdown. Mizzou leads 17-14. Third quarter now, game tied at 17. Howard with a Tebow jump pass to Ben Sinnott. Wildcats get the touchdown. Cats lead 24-17. Fourth quarter, Missouri down 24-20. Cook is going to dump it off to Luther Burden, and his speed does the rest. 26 yards for the touchdown. Mizzou takes a 27-24 lead. 3 seconds left in the game. It's tied 27-27. How about Harrison Melvis from 61 yards out? It is good. The longest field goal in SEC history. MIZ. Mizzou upsets K-State as the Tigers get a 30-27 victory. In Oklahoma, down in Tulsa, not too often these two teams meet. That was the case today as the Sooners are on the road facing the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. It was all Sooners today from start to finish. OU picks up a big win, 66-17. Oklahoma State, on the other hand, they're facing the South Alabama Jaguars for a surprising result here as Oklahoma State loses to South Alabama 33-7 tonight. Mike Gundy's going to have to answer a lot of questions after that performance. Arkansas is home against the BYU Cougars at the end of the third quarter. The Cougars were all over the Razorbacks tonight. They defeated the Razorbacks 31-13. That's going to be it for sports. We'll be right back with more news right after this.
Have you noticed a difference in the types of images you're seeing in online ads lately? Well, you're not alone. Getty Images has been tracking a new trend in small business advertising. Fox's Eben Brown has more in this edition of our Fox on Tech series.
As social media continues to evolve, so do the users helping to power all that content. And now small businesses are finding new ways to connect with those users by personalizing what they see. It's all part of an emerging trend, first reported by Getty Images using their visual GPS research. They're seeing a shift away from the use of stock content on social media, with small businesses now stressing authenticity over traditional sales techniques. And it's given rise to several new social media movements, including the so-called no-filter trend.
It was almost a rejection of the previous decade that was incredibly slick, where you saw this kind of transition into content that looked more raw and more real.
Getty also says small businesses are starting to understand the importance of using content that represents the real-world values of their customer bases. One prominent example is this image, which resonated with LGBTQ customers because they found him to be an authentic representation of their community.
They found him the most trustworthy. They found him the most aspirational. They found him the most exciting. And so I think that is something that's really powerful.
And these trends are expected to continue as social media becomes more of a marketing tool.
Ultimately, they want content, especially visual content, that looks real, that reflects their values, that reflects people that they might know in their own lives.
And Getty says 3.2 billion images are shared on social media every single day. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
TikTok is joining with Billboard, the longtime music industry record-charting company, to create a TikTok Billboard Top 50 chart. TikTok says the chart is the first in the U.S. to monitor music and engagement on its platform. Counts are formed from the number of user videos it make with a song, views, and the amount of user engagement. Only U.S. songs on TikTok will be tracked. The Top 50 countdown chart is formed every Thursday morning. Up next, Oktoberfest kicks off in Germany. Beer lovers flock to Germany's Bavaria state on today to celebrate the official opening of Oktoberfest. Millions of people are expected to gather in Munich to take part in the celebration, which goes on for 18 days. Festival goers decked out in traditional attire ran through the festival grounds as soon as the gates opened to get a spot in dozens of tents. The revelers eager to grab their 2-pint mugs of beer. 6 million visitors attend Oktoberfest every year. The event was not held in 2020 and 2021 because of the pandemic, but returned last year. This year's Oktoberfest runs through October 3rd.
That's a lot of celebrating.
Certainly is, but you know, if we're getting close to Oktoberfest, we must be getting cooler temperatures.
That's exactly right. It kind of feels like October out there in the morning hours, especially with lows in the mid-50s and highs in the 70s. But this week we're going to see more unsettled weather as we head towards the middle part of the week. But of course we need the rainfall desperately. And then the unsettled weather continues through most of the week into the weekend. But I don't think anyone's going to complain too much about the rainfall.
I certainly am not. Well, that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with images of a baby burro being rescued. We'll see you back here next time. Thanks for making us part of your night.